Good evening and welcome to the WFSU studios. I'm David Mullins and I'm the General Manager of WFSU Public Media. And I'm thrilled that WFSU can greet you and is hosting tonight's event. There are lots of similarities between WFSU and the Soul of Southside Arts and Humanities Festival. We both are focused on serving our communities. And inclusion, engagement, history, culture, and storytelling are all part of what we focus on to provide that community service. In fact, local history has become a great project for our team here at WFSU with daily stories about history as part of our program, Local Roots. And you can check it out online daily. Just go to wfsu.org/localroots. And just like the Soul of Southside, WFSU couldn't exist without partnerships. And that's why we're so excited to be greeting you all here tonight, and of course, all of those joining us online. We're going to really look forward to the oral presentations that are going to be presented by the youth tonight. Most of you may know WFSU by the PBS programs that you see on television, or maybe the children's programs that we bring every day. Maybe the dramas or the arts and culture programs, the performances, the documentaries. But show of hands here in the studio, how many of you have actually been in the WFSU studios before? There's a few, and so we welcome you back, and to everyone who has never been here, welcome again. We've got a great production team here at WFSU. They do projects like this one here tonight, but they also do a lot of other fun and arts-oriented projects and also things that deal with public safety. But our team will record and stream live concerts at Ruby Diamond Concert Hall or Opperman Hall or various locations around town, as well as producing great storytelling videos that we air on television and then stream online. Now, others of you may know WFSU by the NPR programming that we provide to you on the radio, or maybe it's the tremendous local news team that we have covering local news here at WFSU. Tom Flanagan, Lynn Hatter, Gina Jordan. These are journalists that are award-winning. They're recognized by their peers here in the state and also nationally. We're very proud of them. Our team also is at the Florida Capitol. Some of you may or may not know about that. We have a programming service called the Florida Channel, and our team is embedded there, a 45-member team that is there to cover and provide coverage of state government 24/7, particularly during the legislative session that just ended. But the hidden gem of WFSU that makes us so special, I think, in this community is our education team, our education and engagement and outreach team. This team provides services to teachers and to families, to parents, to students, and they're also recognized around the country. They are there serving our community, our children, with content and training for teachers. They're also involved in helping develop programming and product and content that many times will make it all the way up to PBS. They're that well respected across the PBS landscape. But you know, the most important part of our education team is the fact that every day their efforts are positively impacting the lives of our children here in Leon County and beyond. Now, enough about WFSU. I see I have someone about to come up on stage with me here. Go to the fun part of the evening, and I'm going to turn it over to a great community leader. She's a member of our WFSU Community Council and probably the most positive, lead by example, and godly person I know, Krista Henry. Krista, come on up. Gotta get a hug.
Mm-hmm. Hey, y'all. Listen, first of all, one of the most important things I do is serve alongside his fabulous community engagement and public education team as a member of the WFSU Community Council. And that's how we get here this evening. We have a public media service that listens to its residents, that listens to its citizens, that is encouraged and committed to telling our stories. And that's why we're here this evening. because as a movement, the Soul of Southside Arts and Humanities Festival, the Southside Redevelopment Advisory Council, and all of our partners and friends that work alongside of us are serious about preserving not just the place of Southside, but the story, the power, the legacy, the good things, the love, the commerce. We're committed to that. So you as parents today with our youth, who I'm really excited about hearing from, play a part in that. We play a role in making sure we deliver to them the legacy of the place in which they live, so that when they grow up, they have a sense, not just a sense of place, they have a sense of ownership. They have a sense of identity. And they have a sense that they have a commitment and a responsibility to preserve the place that they came up in, whether they're here living or they're somewhere else in their career or in their pursuits. They always know where home is. So I'm going to share with you a little bit about the movement here. The Southside, the Soul of Southside Arts and Humanities Festival actually came into fruition as a result of rigorous planning through 2020. We launched our first community festival in the wake of a pandemic. And people were like, y'all crazy. Everybody were canceling events, and we were planning a whole weekend of festival activities, and I am so glad we did. Our festival is headquartered at the Anita Favors Thompson Plaza on FAMU Way, one of the most beautiful streets that we have in our city. And this movement hosted over 5,700 neighbors, residents, and visitors to Tallahassee's Southside. Yes, I said that right, Southside, over the course of its inaugural weekend. The Soul of Southside movement is an equity in practice initiative that integrates diversity, inclusion, and engagement as a vehicle to generate data-supported equity advancement within a given place. And this is giving us an opportunity to be supported by our city, county, state, and national funding partnerships, because our goal as a community-based festival is to empower legacy communities like Tallahassee Southside via this movement. We are here to celebrate its history, its culture, its commerce, and its love. And to date, the Soul of Southside Arts and Humanities Festival movement has had an economic impact within Tallahassee Southside of over $457,000. And that's money spent in the community, that's money spent by the community, that's money generated by the investment that we have made, with 73% of the overall dollars invested with Black, minority, and Southside business enterprises, and with over 27,000 of those dollars with direct and in-kind investment in youth entrepreneurship, civic education, and engagement opportunities. That's why you are here tonight, because of our commitment to investment intergenerationally and investment and transfer to our youth. I'm proud of that. All right. And a little about the Southside Redevelopment Advisory Council. This council was formed at the crux of the Blueprint 2000 extension process back in 2013 as an advocacy base to ensure that Southside and its area got the adequate share of the Blueprint dollars investment to this community. And as a result of much of the advocacy that was supported by this organization, we were able to work along with other partners and other members of that committee to procure over $250 million in infrastructure investment to Tallahassee Southside. Now, it's a beginning. We're going to leverage that investment with private investment and create home ownership opportunity, create cultural advancement, create standing preservation within this community alongside our city, county, and municipal partners to make sure that we see the investment of our city realize value for the residents and neighborhoods in Tallahassee Southside. Our stated goal is to support the preservation of the area's cultural identity and to work in synergy with institutions, organizations, and efforts to ensure that Tallahassee Southside and its neighborhoods are healthy, equitable, culturally rich, and desirable places to live, work, and do business and raise our families. We accomplish this by cultivating partnerships, collaborative investment, equity in place initiatives such as the Soul of Southside Festival, and advocacy for systemic change that strengthens and brings sustainable value to our community. So I said all that to say we are your partner in making sure that Southside stays Southside. We can accommodate growth and improvement while preserving identity within this place, and we can do it together. And I'm committed, and many are committed to that. So we are thankful today for your presence here today. I want to make sure I give appropriate shout out to our History and Culture Committee, who, go ahead, stand up. These are our chair and co-chairs, Rachel Porter and Nicole Everett. They serve as leaders within the movement in this particular space. Yes, absolutely. You can't do anything like this without having appropriate thought leadership in action. So we are extremely proud to have their investment and have their support. Want to also give a shout out to FSU's Center for Leadership and Social Change in the house back here, Bridget Shannon, and their representatives. Listen, we can't do this alone. We have to have institutional partnership, and they have been critical in tonight's presentations and providing volunteers for that purpose. So, with that being said, for all of our online viewers who are looking and listening, welcome. Welcome. Comment on the page. Comment on the broadcast. Say, go girl. Say, get it, boy. Encourage these students and let them see you engage with them, because they've been working hard. They've been working since last year. Y'all let them feel the tenor and the gravity of their work. And we thank you all, every storyteller, every subject matter person who is here, every expert. Thank you for all of your participation, and let's let the good times roll.
Can you acquire a sense of self-worth by denying your past? This is what August Wilson stated back in 2001 in his many famous plays. That question still is necessary to ask. And what we're going to see tonight is a group of young people that obviously addresses that answer, which is, of course, history is absolutely necessary. What oral history does is gives us a window, an insight, in order to preserve the past, learn those lessons, but most importantly, to honor the memory of our elders. That past becomes particularly important when you consider both the context as well as that history of where we came from. Beginning in 1441, as an act of war, we were stolen, kidnapped, and brought to foreign and distant lands in chains. And since then, we've been attempting to recreate our past that began in West Africa. When you look at the depths and the horrors of the bottom of those ships, what you see is Black folks, particularly Black women, singing and trying to recreate culture from a myriad of languages and groups. And we were successful because of that resiliency and resistance. And so I want to echo Krista Henry's words by once again thanking our young people for refusing to give up on us and to honor our elders. Thank you.
Greetings. Hello.
Good evening.
I'm Nicole Everett.
I'm Rachel Basson Porter. Bree Shannon.
And we have been working with the young people at FAMU DRS since last October, twice a month, coming in doing programming. This all kind of got started through last year's Solar Southside. Our focus was on education. And so we had Southside schools at Walker Ford, and we did a tour of 6 schools on the Southside. And we had students present at Walker Ford to represent their schools. And so FAMU DRS was there. We saw Ms. Altamise, and she was excited about getting involved with the Solar Southside. And as a result, FAMU DRS has been just a joy to work with. Ms. Wilson, the students, it's just been wonderful. So I am truly excited and delighted to be here at this place in space to see what they have created.
And I echo that. I am so excited to see what everybody's come up with. As Nicole said, we had the opportunity to bring a program into the schools. We had been working together for a year already, recording oral histories in the community. We had 21 elders who had shared stories. And from there, we knew that many more needed to be told. And so one of the key ways we knew that this could really take hold and become a tradition was to encourage the youth to take part in it. And so we were very grateful for the leadership of Superintendent Johnson, who's here tonight. Thank you so much for everything that you did to usher this into a wonderful kickoff meeting that we had. Miss Ultimise Osborne, who brought us into the school. We met with the students. And of course, without any story I could not share without Miss Tatiana Wilson, who has been such a champion of this and has brought the students here tonight and has worked with them tirelessly. So thank you all for bringing this together. As I said, without the stories that the youth are collecting, and you are working as young public historians, and as a historian myself, that is such an important thing to do, even if that's not your job, just to know where you came from, to know where others around you are coming from. It's really a foundation of society. So we've been lucky to work with all of these kids, these wonderful leaders, and of course with Peace Jam and FSU. I'll turn it over to Bree to tell you more about that.
Thank you. I have the pleasure of working in the Center for Leadership and Social Change at Florida State University, and in particular for the last, almost 20 years now with an organization called Peace Jam that unites youth and Nobel Peace Prize winners to create positive, sustainable change in the world. And to date, there are over 105 million acts of peace that have been documented by youth all over the world, and these youth who are here are part of that Billion Acts movement. And each of them took the opportunity to engage in deep conversation, deep listening, deep reflection about the work of the elders and tellers that they spoke with, and then to think about, what does this mean to me and how I tell my story in the world? And this evening upstairs, we saw some of the art pieces that the students created, and shortly we'll get to see a little bit more of that work that they've done. But this work that started a year ago and really has deeper roots than that is just a moment in a legacy that they're moving forward. And we know that the experiences that they have over the course of this year built together, and the way that they support one another as a community, and the way they support both hyperlocal and global work in that community is just beginning. Thank you all for this opportunity to share with you the students' work.
So I see that City Commissioner Curtis Richardson has joined us. Will you please stand and be recognized? All right, now for our students.
Greetings, I am Jordan Webb, a senior graduating from FAMU Developmental Research School. I currently serve as student government president, and I am class salutatorian.
Greetings, I am Demaria Williams. I serve as the president of the NHS chapter, and I'm also valedictorian of class of 2023.
Greetings, I am Crystal Norman, and I serve as executive branch SGA secretary.
So for our storytelling project, we interview a man by the name of Tommy Mills, who graduated from FAMU High, class of 76. And if you look up here, you can see a little bit of what we did. We created a puzzle that was missing a piece.
So just to go into detail about our puzzle, we mainly wanted to depict the love that that our teller told us was in the community a lot more than what we see now. So in the picture, we have what you can see is different time zones, and then we have a road going throughout the piece to just show the journey of love. And we have a piece from the center of the puzzle that says "low on love," just to demonstrate, like I said before, the love that was once in the community that isn't as much now. So yeah, this is just a few pictures we took of our piece.
Yes, just to piggyback off of that, the most memorable part of the interview was how deeply rooted he was in the school and how much the community has changed from then to now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Greetings. Greetings, I am Cameron Norton, a graduating senior, currently serving as Miss Senior Attendant for the 2022-2023 school year. I also serve as the Secretary for the National Honor Society. My teller was Teller Marie Norwood, and basically what was highlighted from what I gathered from her was how she was a community person. She was very involved in the community. She was saying how basically now what's different from back then is how everybody was so together and now we're spaced out and away from each other. She also said how she was close with her teachers. They were like family. And in the audio, you'll see more about her. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Tella Marie Norwood Williams. I was born and raised in Tallahassee, Florida. My brother and sister graduated from FAMU High. I attended Lincoln Elementary in my first and second grade years. My mother was my first grade teacher at Lincoln. I then transferred to Lucy Moton for 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. I then went back to Lincoln.
Right, had a little technical difficulty there. Our next presentation is an e-zine, which was created by a group of sophomores, Lyric Martin, Adrian Slater, Deja Rackley, and McLean Stroud. Now here's their presentation.
For this part of the presentation, member Lyric Martin wasn't able to do so. But during her time with her interviewee, Teresa Kershaw, she learned so much during her time at FAMU High and Lucy Moton Elementary. Some important moments gathered from the interview was when Miss Teresa joined the Glee Club. Also, when she traveled for the Glee Club and experienced a significant amount of racism. But she also learned from going to both of these schools to never stop living her life to the fullest. Thank you. My name is Adrian Slater. I go to FAMU DRS. I am in the 10th grade and I am 16. I interview Andrea Brown Slater, and the most memorable thing I learned from my teller was that I could always strive for success no matter what, and with the people around me, and learn from my teachers, and just always know like I can go far and do great. I also learned to also know your peers and learn your peers, and to take a break and to know you can always have time for everything you would like. What inspired me about her story was that she was able to do many things that I want to do, like do enrollment and still have time for school and go meet places and do like lots of things. And that was just really cool. And for my inspiration and art piece of my teller, I made a collage of her photos and time in high school. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Deja Rackley, and today I will be presenting my project on the soul of the Southside. Let me share my screen. Okay. Class of 1994. Oh, and today I will be presenting Lonnie Rackley. Class of 1994. Coming from the class of 1994, Lonnie Rackley had a great passion for football. During his time at FAMU High, he states that the school sports were like an all-time high. Mr. Rackley believed FAMU High to be a family-oriented school. Still to this day, Mr. Rackley communicates with his graduating class, and they are always helping each other out when in need. As you can see in my project, I showed 2 pictures of the Lucy Moulton FAMU High School, which is still located on FAMU University campus. And I also added 2 pictures that I got from the old FAMU High book of the football team. Throughout this experience, I learned a lot about FAMU High. While interviewing Lonnie Rackley, I caught some differences from how FAMU High was from FAMU DRS. For example, the extracurricular activities, meaning like not the main classes. Nowadays, FAMU DRS doesn't really have many. Lonnie Rackley explained that FAMU High had woodshop class, home economics, and they also helped build homecoming/Mayday floats, which we don't even do now, and I attend FAMU DRS. But something similar that he stated was that all the hairstyles back from his high school are making their way back. So I really thank the SOS Solar Southside for giving me this experience and letting me just interview Lonnie Rackley and help me educate and get more knowledge on how the old FAMU High was. Thank you, Lonnie Rackley, for being a great person to interview. I learned a lot from you, and thank you, everybody. I hope y'all have a good night. Bye.
Greetings, I am McLean Stroud, a 15-year-old sophomore at Florida A&M University Developmental Research School. I had the pleasure of interviewing Mrs. Barbara Carr-Jones, and the most memorable thing I learned is that hard work pays off. You always have to have hard work in whatever goal you're trying to achieve, and as long as you have that and confidence, you will be able to achieve it. The most inspiring thing I learned was that Mrs. Barbara Carr-Jones and her classmates were like a family. They truly cared for each other and kept up with each other. And this didn't just stop once they graduated high school. They carried this throughout their lifetime until now. They still talk on the phone and attend alumni events and come to FAMU High events. And this was just so refreshing to hear, and I'm so glad she was able to experience this during high school. For this presentation, I have created a magazine cover dedicated to Mrs. Barbara Carr-Jones and her high school experience. FAMU High, class of 1977, Mrs. Barbara Carr-Jones, salutatorian. Born to 2 parents who settled down in Tallahassee and graduated from Florida A&M University, Mrs. Barbara Carr-Jones attended FAMU High 1st through 12th grade. She is one of 6 children who all attended FAMU High. While in high school, she was a part of the prestigious National Honor Society. This was an organization she took great pride in being a member of. In addition to this, Mrs. Barbara Carr-Jones had the honor of being awarded salutatorian of her class. This is known to be her most memorable moment at FAMU High. Through the eyes of Mrs. Barbara Carr-Jones at FAMU High, she developed a bond with her classmates like no other. She says, "You are really like a family. It's not just classmates. We all know who is married, who has kids, and grandkids." This close-knit atmosphere instilled a confidence in her that enabled her to excel in larger environments. She learned she could do anything she set her mind to, and that's exactly what she did. Now, while giving this interview, she had a lot of stuff to say that really inspired me, so I decided to make these into quotes, which you see on the side of her picture. The first one says, "I was a salutatorian, and in my speech, I still remember it is not who you know, but it's what you know that gets you ahead." I think because of the small, close-knit atmosphere that we had at FAMU High, it gave me a confidence that I could do anything. And lastly, People will not always give you what you deserve. You have to fight for the things you want. I had a pleasure and a great time interviewing Mrs. Barbara Carr Jones, and I learned so many life lessons while conducting this interview. I'm grateful that I was able to be a part of this project, and I hope that you were able to get a glimpse into FAMU High in the 70s. Thank you. That concludes my presentation.
Hello, my name is Edward Chapman III. I'm 11 years old, and I'm the owner of Third's Drumline. I started my business when I was 6 years old because I love drumming. I wanted to express myself through music, and I wanted to inspire others to do the same. In my business, I sell apparel such as shirts, hats, mugs, book bags, and so much more. I teach drum lessons to ages 5 and up, and I'm available for booking, which means you can book myself or my band to play at your next event. If you want to know more about my business, you can go to my website, thirdsdrumline.com. And now, I will be giving you a drum presentation. Hope you enjoy.
Well, well, well. Edward Chapman III. You did that. You had me get out my seat to go over there and just do a little dance. Y'all give him another hand clap. All right. Good evening, everyone. I am Samuel King, a member of the FAMU DRS, Matthew H. Esseris. I think I pronounced that right. You all help me. Esseris? Esseris? Okay, Esseris, chapter of the National Honor Society, and I also serve as the senior class president. So, in trying to find what I wanted my final project to be, I started to think about my interview with Dr. Naeem Akbar. At that time, his name was Luther Weems, in the class of 1961. And talking with him, I noticed that we had many similarities from the fact that we were both part of SGA yearbook. We were both did theater and performing arts at the school. In fact, that he was involved, he worked with Irene C. Edmonds, who would come down to the school to do plays with them, in fact. And the fact that he was also a clinical psychologist, and that psychology was was the thing that I was going to be majoring in the fall, to then become a clinical psychologist later on in life. In all of the stories, or out of all of the stories in which he shared, there was one comment or one question that I had asked him that really stood out. And that question was, what was the greatest lesson you learned from attending FAMU Developmental Research School, then Lucy Moton, for 12 years? The greatest lesson for him was that he knew he could achieve anything and anything because of what he had witnessed all of his life. There was nothing or no one who could stop him from becoming great. Or even growing up and living during a time when it seemed like Black people should have been destroyed, in terms of their spirits, that is, of being destroyed. The joys in which we had, the lives in which we lived, should have been stripped from us. One thing he said, which I thought was so true and real, was that white people were not the center of our lives. We were able to live freely because they weren't the center of our stories. We were the authors and the illustrators of our own books. This also showed me that the validation we as Black people are constantly seeking from the white majority in this country to be accepted within society doesn't matter when we learn to accept ourselves for who we are and for what we know that we can do and achieve. So, to commemorate this, I wrote a short monologue, which doesn't have a title, but I did write a monologue to sort of commemorate what we talked about in the interview. I am tired of not being able to live my life. I've spent most of my life trying to please the white world. The same folks who put my people through the Middle Passage, in a net, underwater in the Charleston Harbor. Those people. And I am tired of it. The same people who tell me I'm nothing, trashed my street, spat in my face, and called me you know the word. My mommy tells me not to listen to them, but I can't help but to respond/retaliate when they tell me I'll never be anything. I say, I'll show them with a fist and give them a black eye. But mama says, show them who you are through proving them wrong. She says, when they say you can't be an engineer or a psychologist or a performer or a lawyer or a doctor, who says a Black boy from the South can't perform on stage? If that's what I want to do, I'm going to do it. And ain't nothing more to it. Ain't nothing going to stop me either. Because I am somebody. They may have tried to fill my life with sorrows and pain, but I know that with God on my side, joy comes in the morning. So with that being said, if there's any of you out there who ever struggle struggle with someone trying to stop you from becoming what you want to become, doing what you want to do, you look them in the face and you tell them, I am somebody. I can become what I want to become. I can do what I want to do. And there ain't nobody in this world who's going to stop me from doing what I have put forth to do. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Miles Johnson, and I'm a graduating senior, as well as the senior class secretary. In addition to that, I also serve as the May Day King for the 2022-2023 school year. Tonight, I will be sharing a short audio clip of an interview I conducted with Mr. Terrence Hinson. Mr. Hinson graduated from FAMU High in 1979, and during our interview, I was curious on how May Day was celebrated back during his time. So let's take a look.
You know, it was a coronation of our queens, of our young Black queens, from the senior class all the way down to the first grade. So all of these young ladies, we celebrated, and the May Day Queen was, coronated as the queen. And then all of the attendants from each class, whether it was 12th grade, 12A, 12B, 11A, 11B, all the way down to elementary school, all the way down to kindergarten. The queens would come down to the stage and be acknowledged, be recognized, and they would have escorts, male escorts to bring them down. It was a great time. Everybody got dressed up. You know, we wore tuxedos as little kids. The girls wore these beautiful dresses with, the hairdos and the, new shoes, the whole 9 yards. It was a celebration of, Black beauty from young kids all the way up. We also had what was called the May Day pole. It was this pole that had these strings that came off of it, probably 12 to 20 strings, and students would grab a string. They were assigned each string, and then they would just kind of wrap the May Day pole with these colors and then drop it. And there'd be speeches and celebrations, and it was a celebration of Black beauty.
Hi, good evening, everybody. My name is Jemiah Forbes. I am currently a junior at FAMU DRS. I had the pleasure of interviewing Miss Stephanie Lee. Me and my partner, Raven Simmons, decided to do a collage for you all just because we feel like a collage is something easy to grasp. Like all the pictures that you see, it's easier to grasp, like everything that we've learned from her. The most memorable thing I learned from my teller was the similarities and differences that we had. Miss Stephanie Lee was involved in SGA, as I am currently the junior class SGA parliamentarian. Miss Stephanie Lee was also involved in the marching band. As I am currently the flute and piccolo section leader, I will be going on my 8th year in August. And our differences was how right now we have to wear embroidered tops and bottoms, and she made it clear that at first they did not have to wear uniforms. So that was very shocking to me, as well as when our proms now is only for the juniors and seniors, but she made it clear that when freshmen would want to go to the prom and stuff like that, they would sign a form and they would serve the juniors and seniors their food, and then after that they would be able to party along with us. and things of that sort. So that really stuck out to me. And I wore this bright pink top because, you know, when she was interviewed, she was really like warm and like bright. So I thought that would represent her very well. My partner, Raven Simmons, couldn't be here, but she did leave a message for you all. And lastly, I'd just like to thank Souls of Southside, Miss Wilson, and WFSU for having me for this great opportunity. You know, I appreciate that. So yeah, let's roll the clip.
Greetings, I am Raven Simmons, a sophomore at Florida Agricultural and Mechanical Developmental Research School. My person was Stephanie Lee, a Baby Rattler original who attended DRS from kindergarten through 12th grade and graduated in 2001. The most memorable thing about my person was how similar we were. We both in similar activities, including band and student government, as well as we both had an innate love for math. The thing that inspired me most about my person was how happy and active she was during her time at DRS. Although I am both of these things, her joyous energy during the interview made me proud to be a Baby Rattler despite the challenges. The final project that I decided to do was a collage. I chose to do this because during the interview, my person told very interesting stories that I decided that I want to share with you guys. And that was my project. I would like to thank Ms. Wilson and Soul of the Southside for giving me this opportunity, as well as Ms. Stephanie Lee for allowing me to interview her. Thank you.
All right. Welcome back. I did notice that we have a representative from Senator Corey Simon's office, Ms. Jonah Jackson here. Will you please, thank you, be acknowledged. Thank you so much. All right, are you all enjoying yourselves thus far? Good, good. I am too. So next we have Miss Kristen Hood, who is not here today, but she is a graduating senior at FAMU DRS and a member of Peace Jam's Regional Leadership Council. She is attending another leadership function this evening, but she interviewed Gloria Dixon Robinson. The most memorable aspect of Kristen's research and interview was learning that the idea of her peers being the kid who does all of the things is a concept as old as FAMU High, and that being heavily involved at school is a common practice of leaders at the school. Kristen and Ms. Robinson share the value of being engaged in their school and community. She loved learning that she and Mrs. Robinson both participated in cheerleading and the yearbook committee, where Kristen is currently the editor-in-chief. Kristen was most inspired by the memories of family and unity shared by Mrs. Robinson. She wanted to capture the traditions that made FAMU DRS's culture so rich, as well as showcasing the events and traditions that are still present in today's culture of FAMU DRS through her collage, FAMU Lee, in this presentation. Please check out the screen.
My name is Gloria Dixon Robinson. Dixon was my maiden name. I attended Florida Agriculture Mechanical University High School from 1964 through 1968.
Greetings and salutations. My name is Nave Green.
And I am Haley Rackley, and we are both 17-year-old rising seniors.
For our SOS project, we had the pleasure to interview Mr. Monty O. Green, who attended FAMU High his entire pre-collegiate career and graduated there in 1962.
The most memorable thing I remember from interviewing Mr. Green was that he grew up in a big family, which means he was very family oriented. Another thing that I remember is that he worked many jobs, which for me seems that he was a very young, independent young man.
What was most memorable for me during our interview was while we had our conversation, Mr. Monty mentioned how he was the student body president during his senior year. And that really resonated with me because I am the junior class president and I had eyes on being the SGA president next year, which I will be during the 2023-2024 school year. And he also inspired me to always be curious and be kind, because throughout his years and while growing up, he learned and he gained wisdom in that. He wanted to share that with people my age.
For our NHS project, we decided to build a sculpture. If you look at the screen, their sculpture is a then and now presentation. The footsteps in the car represent how in their interview, Mr. Green said he used to walk to school. Meanwhile, today's time, we just drive to school or use cars. The maypole represents how both FAMU High and FAMU DRS still have the maypole tradition till this day. The Ferris wheel represents how back in an interview, Mr. Green said that he sold pecans in order to afford the fare.
At the top of the sculpture, you will notice a camera. And while we interviewed him, we learned that cameras are the most important tools to capture and retell stories and memories through photographs. With photographs, you will be able to tell your stories and your legacy will live on. Even while your memory slowly goes away, photographs will always keep them alive. Thank you.
Greetings, I am Kamaya Urban. Hold on, wait a minute. Greetings, I am Kamaya Urban, and I currently serve as the 69th Miss Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University Developmental Research School. And and I had the pleasure to interview Mrs. Mary Wells. The most memorable thing from Miss Mary Wells that I learned was that she ran for Miss Junior Attendant for the FAMU High Royal Court in her high school years. This was the most memorable thing to me because I also ran for Miss Junior Attendant for the 2021-2022 school year, and I won. But Miss Mary couldn't be here tonight, but in her honor, I have a crown and a sash from Miss Junior Attendant as she will be crowned. Yeah, thank you.
Greetings, my name is Dream Hogan, a current 11th grader, and I humbly serve as the 2022-2023 Queen of Orange and Green. Today, I have the honor of presenting to you Donnie Hogan. The most memorable moment of my interview was realizing the high pride and courage that came along with being a FAMU High alumni. What inspired me the most was when he told me that being a FAMU High alumni, you had no choice but to be everything other than mediocre. Here is my video.
So the first question says, what extracurricular activities were you involved in, and did you enjoy them?
I was on the football team, I was on the track team, and I was in the Martin Luther King National Honor Society.
What's that?
They don't have it anymore, but I had, y'all graduated. I was top 5
sad. We only won one game.
Yeah, I already know.
How would you describe your experience at FAMU High?
My experience at FAMU High was eye-opening and awakening in the sense that it allowed me to understand and realize the value of strengthening my education. And so, because just telling you this, I don't know if you'll put it in your paper. I went to school. Lawrence Harper's, Francis Harper's son was in my class, and Ken Riley's daughter, Kim Riley, were in my class. And so by being in class, you know what I'm saying, with these prominent individuals' kids, it helped me to realize, you know what I'm saying, that just being mediocre wasn't an option. I had to be great.
Who's Kim Riley?
Ken Riley was the head coach of FAMU's football team, and Frederick Hopkins was the president of FAMU University.
Oh.
So I went to school with their kids, and they were in all of us were in the same class.
Oh, that's cool. Participate in the Royal Court or Mayday when you was at FAMU High?
I sure did. I escorted several sisters to the coordination ball and everything.
Oh, you was an escort?
Yeah, I was the escort.
Ooh, I thought I was going to slip there. It's okay. We're good. Hello. Greetings. Hi. My name is Nima Pitts. I am a 16-year-old sophomore, and I go to school with the rest of the people. All right. I got the honor to interview Miss Kimberly. I don't know how to pronounce your last name. I'm going to try, though. Galligan? There we go. All right. The most memorable moment of our interview was how she spoke. When she talked, you can tell that she really cared about the school that she went to. She was proud to be a Baby Rattler. And I saw that in how she reacted to my questions and her overall tone of voice. It was great. And this inspired me. The other thing that inspired me was how close people could grow together, only seeing each other a few hours a day, every single day a week. That's a lot in retrospect, but if you take it apart, it's not that big. It's 8 hours, 6 hours? Depends. Anyway, I like the thought of growing close as a family with people I care about. And I wish FAMU High was more like that now, but I'm glad you got to experience that when you were there. So that inspired me. A lot of things inspired me. You're an inspiring person. But that inspired me to make a collage. Ta-da! It's pictures that you sent me that were your favorite, your graduation photo, and a photo I made of you. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Dari Boatner. I am a 15-year-old sophomore at FAMU DRS, and I had the pleasure of interviewing Miss Lynette Boatner. And the most memorable thing about her was how close she was with her community, not just at FAMU DRS, but her friends and her family in her neighborhood by Jake Ather Park. The most inspirational thing about Miss Lynette is how dedicated she was to planning projects and activities for her community. She participated in planning activities for the May Day event, and she participated in planning little shows with her neighborhood friends for her community. And I had the honor of making a portrait of her with her favorite flowers, which are roses and cherry blossoms. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening. So can we just all give these wonderful scholars a round of applause for their incredible interest and their work. One of the scariest things as a historian who dedicates their lives to preserving history, because we understand the significance of it, is the fear that no one cares. And so what we see demonstrated here today is that our generations care and that our history is safe because they care. And so I just want you all to understand the magnitude of doing the work that you were doing. And not only do you preserve it in these oral histories, but you preserve it in your heart and in your spirit. And that is what carries us generation to generation to generation. So congratulations on your great work. When I was a sophomore at Florida A&M University back in 1990, none of your business. I was home one day on one break. I can't remember what the break was. And I was doing my homework. And I was enrolled in a course that was taught by Dr. Merle Dawson, who became the director of the Black Archives. And I was studying about segregation. And I looked up at my father, who was sitting at the dining room table. And my father was a preacher. And he always had books on the table. That was his desk. We grew up very with modest means. And he had his books on the table. His legs were stretched and ankles crossed in comfort. And I looked up and I asked my daddy, and I said, "Daddy, did you have to drink from separate water fountains?" And he looked up from his Bible and he said, "Yeah," just matter-of-factly. I instantly began to cry, because now I'm not thinking about history as words in a book. History was my daddy. And my daddy was a little boy who was growing up in hot Miami, Florida, and who had to deal with the indignities of a society that made a little boy feel lesser than if he dared to get thirsty. And so that set me on a quest to make sure that people like my father and people like my mother who immigrated to this country, that their stories are interwoven into the fabric of our society. And he talked and he shared things with me, and I could realize it was getting hard to share it, so I stopped my questions. But what I want to tell you all is we are going to be okay because, number one, you care. Number two, you are capable. You're capable of doing the work. And number three, you have answered the call. And when a call is given to you, you become a torchbearer and you become a preservationist, right? And you're preserving history that's so important because it's vital not only to just history in itself, but particularly with African-American history, African-American survival. History is the evidence that people existed. It's the evidence of their experiences. And it's the evidence that gives you a footprint on how to deal with the present and to plan for the future. And so we are just blown away by the level that you've taken your research as far as taking it seriously and understanding that this is making a difference. And I call it a multi-generational charge to preserve African-American history. You're connecting to the history and the experiences, and this is all empowering, which is why a lot of people don't want to see it happen. And it turns out that what counts as history is determined based on who is doing the counting. And so what I'm saying is, while you are doing this work and you've preserved it, make sure you continue to position yourself to be doing the counting. Congratulations on a project well done.
You know, I'm a whole lot of things right now, but predominantly, I am grateful. We're all grateful. When you come into when you're involved on a community level, you hear a lot of things about your community. You don't hear the stuff that matters. You don't hear the stories that transcend from generation to generation. You don't hear the comfort. You don't hear the familiarity. you don't hear the identity. And what I heard tonight was familiarity. I heard comfort. I heard identity. I heard our future. Now, this is the charge. You must continue. Quite simply. Whatever space you become, whatever area you go into, whether you're a real estate professional, whether you're a lawyer, whether you're a doctor, whether you're a statistician, whether you're a computer technology person, you got to use what you do to continue. But you've started, and that's the hardest part. The hardest part is to start. But now that you've started, we want you to light every flame in this city. We want you to light every young person in this city, because I was a part of a troop that we used to go around and do Black history programs all over everywhere. And the thing I remember about that troop was they used to always recite to us, whose history? Our history. Whose history? Our history. That was the resounding cry. And so when I say it to you, I want you to say it back to me. When I say whose history, I want you to say our history. All right? Whose history? Our history. Whose history? Our history. Whose history? Our history. It's Southside's history. And it's worthy to be curated. It's worthy to be preserved. It's worthy to be told. And you are telling it tonight. And I want to encourage you to keep telling it. We have a community that's worth it. When I came to Tallahassee, Southside, I was born in Detroit and I was raised in Lakeland, but I came to Tallahassee as a student. And I lived in Tallahassee for years and didn't experience Southside. And when I came across the tracks, that is when I knew what love of community was. So it is here. This is a special place. It ain't the only special place, but it's a special place. You are in good soil. You are in good ground. And with the tradition that FAMU DRS has for this community, whether it's through the era of Lucy Moulton Elementary, as it translates to FAMU High, as it's now translated to DRS, it's the same blood. It's the same charge. It's the same strike. And so as a Seminole, I'm going to tell you today to continue to strike, and strike again, because this is your history. And we will be faithful to make sure it's told and preserved with all the strength that's in us. Shout out to the committee. Shout out to all the partners. Shout out to all our sponsors. You see them up on the screen. And all of those that have contributed, Senator Corey Simon, a host of other legislators in our city. And we've got other sponsors now that are coming on board just by virtue of hearing you tonight. So let me tell you how powerful you are. We will continue to support the movement as long as you keep moving. Thank you so much. Congratulations.